meeting with the company boss. He was crying about profit and loss. Said he was worried, and then he said, Hoss, I'm wondering if you share the vision.
Okay, today I'm going to tie a Whitebait Mushy. It's part of the Mushmouth series of flies developed by Dave Skok and Jamie Boyle, who came up with this variation. I'm going to do two steps different that Jamie doesn't do, which one is going to be, I'm going to add a pink lateral line in the beginning, which will be the first step. And then instead of using soft hex to stiffen up the middle part of the fly, or stiffen the spline as they call it, I'm going to use clear goo flex. You can use the syringe, or you can use the bottle, brushable type. I like the flex a little bit better, but either work fine. I can get the needle into the material a little bit easier with the syringe style. So basically, what I'm going to do, this step is the optional step. After you get your thread on, I'm using clear monofilament, and I start right behind the eye of the hook, and I'm going to wrap back about 2 eye length. Okay, and then I cut it off. Now, I like short shank hooks for this pattern. This one happens to be the Mustad C6 8SZ, which is, this one's a size 2, and it's an extra heavy hook, so it'll give it a little bit of weight. This is also their tarpon hook. So this is the hook that I'm using for this particular fly. I also like to use the SC15 Gamakatsu, and I like the Trey Combs big game hook. And I will tie these up as large as a size 1 hook shank. So I get the thread on there. Like I said, I'm going to end up about 2 hook eyes back behind the eye of the hook. First thing I'm going to do is take my white unique hair. Unique hair is similar to super hair, but it's a little bit softer, which gives it a nicer look when you're done. I have tied these with super hair when I haven't had this, because I like this pattern for false albacore. You don't get quite as nice a look, but it does work. As I take my pink color first, okay, and I'm going to tie that directly on the hook. It'll be on the top of the hook. This is just kind of add a little more color and a little more. When Dave tied the first mushmouth, he used to use super hair with this particular step, and then would stiffen this, and that would keep the fly from fouling. In this case, I still like that step because it does add that pronounced color into it. This will also determine the length of the fly. This whole fly is going to be about 2.5 inches long, and as you can see, it's not a lot of material, but it's going to stand out, and it's going to add a lot to the finished fly. So now what I like to do is I take the belly color, which in this case is going to be white. Again, for false albacore, sometimes they'll make these the cotton candy version, where it's chartreuse on the bottom, you have the pink, and then you have blue on the top. And for this, I'm going to put it right down the middle of the fly, and then I'm going to tie it off. Again, I'm keeping my clear monofilament thread, 1 hook eye back. Wrap it down really well. So you want that white to stay on the bottom, and then just kind of off to the sides a little bit, about 180 degrees around the shank of the hook. So as you can see, the pink is still on the top, white is on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to put some flash in here. In this case, I'm going to use Mirage Flashaboo. This is just the opal. You can use, I mean, they make these in different hues. Again, chartreuse hues I'll like in this, just to add the chartreuse. There's a light blue, that is nice. In this case, it's just regular open. I'm going to put this so it goes over the white and under the eye of the hook. I'm going to hold it up, but when I pull it back, notice I have some separation between it, and I'm going to lay it on the side of the pink. And then when I tie it down, it ends up being the flash on the side of the hook. Okay, then I add the top color. Okay, then I add the top color. Now what I'll do is bring the thread up to behind the eye of the hook. So, number one, you can see the shape forming there of the bait fish. And then when I pull the top color and the bottom color back, respectively, I'm filling that little gap there. Okay. Now, this is the step where they would put Softex and they would saturate the middle of this or behind the eye of the hook to just past the bend of the hook with the Softex, so that when that dried, this would be real stiff and that would prevent it from fouling around the hook. But like I said, I don't like breathing the Softex. It is a carcinogen, so if you work with it a lot, you can end up frying your lungs. So what I have experimented with and found that it works just as well is using this clear goo fleck. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to saturate that area again from right behind the hook eye to just where that just at the bend of the hook. You go a little past it, that's fine. Right. I'm putting a pretty generous coat on, and mainly because when I fold the top material back, I want it to bleed a little bit into that also. And since it's somewhat translucent, the light will go all the way through this fly and it will cure that flex in the middle. So you end up with the same results as if you were using the other thing, plus it's dry instant. So now remember, this is still wet. So when you pull it back, I kind of like to flatten it down just a little bit, and I just make two wrap. Gentle. I mean, pull down tight on it. Okay, then I flip it over, and I do the same thing. I put that between the hook. Okay, I take my thread and make two wraps. Okay, then I tie my thread off. Done with that. Now, what I like to do is I'll take this out of the vise, get all that hair where it should be, make sure my stripe is where it should be, and flex kind of being a moisten agent, it's going to hold it all in place anyway underneath there. So as you can see, without doing anything, there's the fly. That's the shape of it. That's all done. It's where I like it. So now I'm going to take my light. I'm going to zap it. Okay, that's nice and dry. All right. And now you're going to get a pair of 2DIs. Stick them one on each side. Now, just like that, they're not going to stay on there. So what I'm going to do is take some more of the clear goo, that on there. So thing I like about it is you still have that softness of the body. To cover the eyes, what I do like to do, instead of using the flex, I will use the thin for that. Just kind of, it protects them more, gives it just a little more hardness. But if I do that, that for me tends to remain a little tacky. So I cover that with Heart of Nails.